Okay, here we go. 7.1. Our intro to trig, mostly a review, kind of geometry. All right, here we are. Starting it off with reference angles. So let's talk about what a reference angle is real quick. When we are drawing angles in standard position, which if you recall meant that the initial side of the angle would always be on the positive x. See, this is the x-axis and this is the positive side of it. With the initial side on the positive x and the terminal side counterclockwise to our angle, the angle that we formed in this particular case is 48 degrees, all right? Now, that's an angle in standard position. What they're talking about are other angles in standard position that have a reference angle of 48. And what that means is, reference angle means I've got an angle that's bigger than 90 and falls in other places, all right? So I'm trying to think of the simplest way to explain this here. And what I'm thinking of is to do this. If we looked at randomly, no reason, guys, but can we look at 132 degrees? Where would this be? All right, let's see. If I start, and I'm going to erase the things I drew to make this as less crowded as I can. If I come over here to the positive x-axis and I go counterclockwise till I get to 132 degrees. So here we go. Here's 90 degrees, right? Because this is a 90-degree angle right here. If I keep going past 90 till I get to about where 132 would be, and then if I were to draw the terminal side of that angle, this right here is my 132-degree angle, all right? Now remember, in this class, we are only allowed to make triangles by taking the terminal side and making a vertical line to the x-axis. So when I do that, I create myself a right triangle that's right here. And there's an angle inside this right triangle, all right? And that angle is called the reference angle of this 132 degrees. Now why? Because if you remember, we learned trigonometry inside of a right triangle. So it doesn't make sense, a 132-degree angle like that. It doesn't make sense to try to turn that into a triangle and find the sine and cosine. We kind of can't do that, right? So what we do is we draw a vertical line, create this other triangle that has this other angle that we can use. And that's what a reference angle is. Okay, what is this other angle is the big question. Well, for 132, we just want to know if all the way to here in a straight line is 180 degrees, we want to know how shy of that 180, 132 was. What's the remainder? What's the rest of it? Okay, so we will take 180, subtract 132 to get 8, 7, 4, 48 degrees. So the reference angle for 132 is 48 degrees. All right? Make sense? I hope it does. Now, if that happened in the second quadrant, wouldn't you agree that if we had a 48-degree angle, in the third quadrant, that when we connect with a vertical line to the x-axis, we get the right triangle? Wouldn't you agree that whatever this angle is, all the way from here, all the way to here, whatever this unknown angle is, its reference angle is 48 degrees, okay? So let's figure out what this unknown angle is. This unknown angle is 90, 180, plus another 48. So down here, it's actually 180 plus that angle, 48, that gets me my reference angle. Okay, 228. Okay, so the reference angle of 228 degrees is also 48, and let's do this one more time. Let's look at a pretty purple color. Let's look at what angle would have a reference angle of 48 in the fourth quadrant, okay? That's not better, but whatever. It's the best we can do. So what has a 48-degree reference angle that when I make a vertical line to the x-axis, I get a triangle that has that 48-degree angle in it? Well, let's go see. It's the angle that starts here at the positive x-axis and goes counterclockwise all the way around to there. So let's go see how big it is. It's 90, 180, 270, and then it stops 48 degrees shy of a full circle, which is 360 degrees. We are just 48 degrees shy of that. So we end up with 312 degrees. The angle 312 degrees, it's this whole thing has a reference angle of 48. So there are these as the answer to number 1. All right, we have the 132, we have the 228, and the 312, okay? And if you come back to this, you guys, these will prove to be what you do every time, all right? It's, oh, we have an angle, an unknown angle, let's call it theta. Another angle in this quadrant with the same reference angle will be 180 minus theta, just like we did 180 minus our angle theta. Over here, the reference angle of 48 will happen when we do 180 plus theta. Okay, just like we did 180 plus theta. Okay, and then over here, the angle that has a reference angle of theta will happen when we do 360 minus that angle. Okay, okay, so this is just if you want, I don't know, check your answer. I don't know what you want to do. Okay, all right, now I really hope reference angles are super clear. I almost want to stop the video right here. I will. I'm going to stop the video right here and call this the reference angle lesson. And then I'll continue the rest of this homework assignment on the next one.